All right, coming at you with a little more detail on what I'm going for seats. You know me, I don't do a how-to so much as what I'm doing, and maybe some measurement details might help you out with your install. So we're coming in at 52 inches here on this. This is a 3 by 2 angle. 2 is giving me the height I want off the floor. There's a little of a bow in the floor piece, so figure 2 inches from here, and then I'm leaving the gap down here. Ultimately, by the time I get that sound deadening material in and this insulation pad in, this is going to be sitting right on it. I'm going to omit that from the center crown piece, so I'll let this reside straight on the metal and then just kind of build up as I come out, if that's making sense. This is backstory, is the really thin butyl rubber from Amazon, and I go with the thin stuff. This is my second project I've used this for, because you saw that foam on there. By the time I do this, and I don't do everything typically, but this cab I'll probably do more than I normally do. I put this in that the foam pad that I just showed you there, and then you're going to have the carpet jute, and then the carpet. It should be pretty quiet in here, I think. Anywho, this is all drilled out 3/16 on the angle iron, but this is all spaced out for the Tahoe seats. So let me take a break here, throw in the seats, come back to you with those measurements and details. You know, the advantage of the roll and tumble is that you get access to these back bolts pretty easy. It also just shows you how this box is in. The 2 rails that we installed here, and I'm only halfway through. This is the 60 part. Shove it down. This seems to be working as a good sitting platform when I'm going to be working over here without messing up the upholstery, which is kind of nice. And then if I get this back up a little bit, you can watch it. So this seat's going to come up. You see how it kind of starts to come up? I push that back up. This elevates. So here's your sitting height at this point. Now, I don't know if we mentioned in this video, these are from a 2025 Tahoe. I believe 21 to 25 are all the same as far as these mounts that we're talking about. Different trim levels, different seats, of course, but this gives the ability for some adjustment to the seat forward and aft. I'm a solid 6 foot, 34 length on the legs, so a little bit in the leg. So getting this up was kind of important for me. The adjustment for my wife to come forward was a thought process, though admittedly, I don't think the seat goes back as far as I want. We'll do some more stuff here. Let me go through the other side on, and I'll give you the impressions on this. There's no free lunch, but this does seem to be working out fairly well. All right, let's talk measurements. Got the tape on the far corner of the cushion there. Just coming across the back here, the seats are fairly square in the back and in the front. So call that 55. I'm a little bit in the curve, maybe 55 and a half, just if you want to give you a little some margin. I want to point out where the seat lines up with the back of the cab. Definitely riding up on this weather stripping right here. I'm kind of wondering if I put a spacer on it and I bring this angle up, how this is going to change the comfort. I might be able to squeeze another, half inch out of the rear adjustment. Put this back up. Let's talk about putting that in place. So there you kind of go. See what I'm talking about. What comes into play are these handles, because this seat is shifted this way. And I'll go over that in a second. So I'm hugging this side real tight. I've got a little gap in here. I can oblong this hole. I can tighten this up about another half inch. But I'm only about 3/4 inch from a straight edge up here to this furthest part out. I'm hoping that clears the door. We are not gonna know until the doors are on, I guess. We'll find that part out and play with that. Let me hustle on over to the other side. Kind of get a front end look around here. Pull this tape. The headrest fits. There's actually a gap between that and the glass. The Tahoes have a cable in here that come into the seat, and when you tumble the seat forward, it automatically pulls this headrest down. I've undone that feature because it just doesn't make sense to have it. And I wanted some ability to pull this off or raise it if this didn't work. So I took that cable out. So I now have the ability to slide these up and out, depending on what I do, because this is pretty tall. This hits me at the top of my shoulder at this point. Anywho, let me hop in here for a second, because the problem I'm seeing, I'm not sure how comfortable this is going to be in relation to the steering wheel. The steering wheel is coming about here. Give you perspective, right? That's off center from the sitting position that this wants to put you into. First impressions though, getting into the truck, gas pedals are going to be over here. Splayed leg a little bit. This is not going to be not a deal breaker. My head's on the headrest. I think if I were to try to center myself, I'd be here. It's flat enough where it doesn't seem to be too uncomfortable to sit on this side of the seat. If I'd be straight, if you hike a cheek a little bit up on the bolster. I think this is going to be okay. We're going to find out. There's that low car shifter. Kind of falls in a nice place there. Kind of happy with that, how that's working. And throw out the armrest, and away we go. So do me a favor, if you got questions, throw them in the comments section. I don't know if I've covered everything you might want to hear. Maybe you've got questions. Now's a good time to ask. I've got everything apart. Tape measure's handy. If something you want checked on, glad to help. Catch you later. Thought I'd go ahead and grab the steering wheel before I close this out. This is a tilt wheel, but you can see I've got clearance on this wheel. See, yeah, that's always probably a concern, is where this thing's going to get. Put my legs straight up again. 34-inch legs, 6 foot. Think it's going to work.